G'day, E7. Oh, sorry, I was off in La La Land then. Yeah, a little bit of a delay. Anyway, here's our next video tutorial, exercise 1E, multiplication. Again, a lot of this stuff you should already know, but we yeah, just trying to extend your knowledge a little bit further, trying to get your working out, get you doing your working out correctly, setting it out the right way, and hopefully just pushing your knowledge and understanding of this type of work a little bit further. So exercise 1E, multiplication. The multiplication of two numbers represents a repeated addition. Alright, so basically what that means is if we had, actually I'll write that the other way around, 4 times 2, repeated addition. So basically it's 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 4 times. So you're adding 2 together 4 times. That's basically what repeated addition means. But we don't have to do it that way because multiplication allows us to do that a little bit easier. Okay, so for example 4 times 2 could be thought of as 4 groups of 2. As I just said, 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. 4 groups of 2 this way. Alright, or it could also be thought of as 2 groups of 4. So you could go either way here. Alright, and we have touched on what this law is called. Can anyone remember? Call it out if you know. Yeah, the cumulative law. Alright, so it doesn't matter with multiplication. It also follows the cumulative law because it doesn't matter which order the two numbers are in. 4 times 2 equals, sorry, I'll do this. 4 times 2 equals 2 times 4. It's exactly the same thing. Gives you exactly the same answer. Alright. So as we were saying here, yep, could also be thought of as 4 groups of 2 groups of 4. I'll get there eventually. 4 plus 4, 4 plus 4. Okay. All right. Some key ideas. Finding the product. Okay. We have looked at the. Actually, we haven't looked at these. So product also means multiplication. Maybe that's something you can do too. Is actually have a look on the internet and see if you can find some other terms that are used to describe multiplication. Alright, so product is often used. So what's the product of two numbers? And that involves multiplication. So say the product of 2 and 3 is 6. As we said, cumulative law, that's what multiplication follows. So 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2. Okay. Now we also have a thing called the associative law for multiplication, meaning it does not matter which pair is multiplied first. So you could have 3 numbers multiplied together, and I might do that underline a little bit better. You could have 3 numbers being multiplied together, and it actually doesn't matter which numbers you multiply first. Alright, so A times B with the times C out here, so if you did A and B first and then C last, would give you the same answer as if you multiplied the B and C together first and multiplied A last. Or if you multiplied the A and C together and multiplied the B last. Alright, it really doesn't matter. So that's the associative law. Don't have to worry too much about that, just be aware of it. That yeah, if you have a number of numbers multiplied together, it does not matter which pair you multiply, which numbers you actually multiply first. Doesn't matter at all. Now the multiplication algorithm for multiplying is a single digit by a single digit involves setting them out like your addition subtraction. So vertically multiplying the single digit and then, multiplying the single digit by each digit in the other number, starting from the right. So starting from this side again and working to your left. Carry any digits like we did with addition subtraction onto the next column. Alright, so here 4 times 3 is done first, which gives us 12. So again we write the 2, we carry the 1. And we have 4 times 2, which is 8, and then we add. So anything you carry here now you add. You don't multiply that, you add that on. So 4 times 2 gives you the 8, plus the 1 gives you the 9, and there's your answer. Okay. Alright, a few more key ideas. Mental strategies. So again here we're looking at mental strategies for multiplication. So knowing your multiplication tables off by heart. You can always, there's lots of little math websites that you can get on that can give you a lot of practice on your times tables, and I suggest you do that, even just 5 minutes. iPad apps, iPhone apps, you can get lots of apps that do the same thing, and I'd be suggesting you do maybe just even 5 minutes a night or 5 minutes a few times a week just on your times tables. Alright, it just makes such a big difference. Using the commutative law by changing the order, for example 43 times 2 might sound, well, that's pretty difficult to do, to go add 2 together 43 times. We'll swap it around. Use that law that we looked at back here, the commutative law, change them around. So 2 times 43, oh well, that's easier. That gives us 86. Using the commutative and associative law, but altering the order if more than one number is being multiplied. So 5 times 11 times 2. So you might put them in a different order to make it easier. So here they've swapped that 2 and the 11 around. Done 5 times 2 gives you 10. 10 times 11, which is easier, to 110. Alright, so you can swap them around if you want to. Alright, and I use that method quite often as well. Using the distributive law by making a 10 or 100 and then adjusting by adding or subtracting. Alright, so we're going to probably look at that more in later chapters. I'm not going to go over it too much here. Yeah, so just be aware of it. So for example here, 6 times 21, you might do 6 times 20, okay, which gives you 120, and then you do 6 times 1. Alright, so you take the single unit and multiply that out, then you add the guys together. Same here, 7 times 18, so you might do 7 times 20, and this you've got to be careful because you've actually added 2, so you've actually got to take away what you've just added. So you've added 2 units, so make sure you subtract those 2 units, but you've also got to multiply them by 7 as well. Alright, so 7 times 20 gives you 140, minus the 7 times 2, which is 14, subtract that away. Yeah, you can also use a doubling and halving strategy by doubling one number and halving the other, and it's important that you do that. You've got to, if you double one, you've got to halve another one. You've got to do that. So for example, you've got 5 times 7 times 4, which is actually a pretty easy problem, but just for the sake of showing an example, you might double the 5 to a 10, leave the 7 alone, and halve the 4 to a 2. Alright, so you've got 10 times 7, which is 70, 70 times 2, which is 140. Okay, so that is another method that you can use. Alright, so they're all the mental strategies. So knowing your multiplication tables, using the commutative law, using the associative law, using the distributive law. So it's a bit like partitioning, I suppose, and compensating. Very similar to that one. And then using a doubling and halving strategy. Remember, if you double one, you've got to halve the other, or if you halve one, you've got to double another. Alright, that's the only way that'll work. If you just double one only and don't touch the others, yeah, it's not going to work. And you can't double 2 numbers and halve one. It's just one number's doubled, one number's halved. That's it. Alright, let's have a look at some examples. Use a mental strategy to find the answer to each of these products. 7 times 6, I'm just going to use, I know that off the top of my head because of multiplication. My times tables gives me 42. Okay, that easy. 3 times 13, I'm going to use, which one I'm going to use there? I'm actually going to use this distributive law for doing this one. Alright, so I'm going to do, that is an equal sign, 3 times 10, I'm going to put that in brackets, plus 3 times 3. So I'm going to multiply the 3 by the 10s and then the 3 by the 3 single units. So 3 times 10 is 30. Plus 3 times 3, which is 9, add them together, gives me 39. Okay, that easy. 4 times 29, I'm going to use, which one might I use? I'm going to, actually, where am I going? 4 times 29, I'm going to actually use this distributive law again on that one, I reckon. So I'm going to say we've got to squish this in a little bit. 4 times 30, and because I've gone up, I've got a minus 4 times 1. Alright, so I've added the extra 1 onto that, so I've got to make sure I take that away. So 4 times 30, 4 times 3 is 12, so add the 0, so 120 minus the 4, which gives me 116. Should be my answer for that one. Okay, so the last one we've got here is 5 times 24. How will I do that one? I'm going to use the doubling and halving. So I'm going to use this last method, doubling and halving. Now I'm running out a bit of space here, so I'm actually going to double the 5, so 10, and I'm going to halve the 24 to 12. So now I've got 10 times 12, which gives me 120. Alright, so it's really that simple. It's not difficult at all to do. You've just got to think about the numbers that you have and yeah, write these strategies down, mind you, in your notes, and then you can refer back to them. Yeah, but that's the way it works. Okay, last little example. Give the result for each of these products. Let's use the multiplication algorithm. Okay, that's what it's asking for here, so make sure you read the questions to know what you've got to do. So I've got 31 times 4, so I write it vertically, make sure I put the right units in the correct place value in column order, and we multiply from the right to the left. So 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 3 is 12, 124. That easy. Second example, 197. Actually, what I want you to do is pause this video and I want you to go off and do this one on your own. Still on a bit of scrap paper or something, you can do it in your books. Probably do it in your books is a better option. Put it all with the notes that you already have. So have a go now, pause it, come back and we'll go work through it. Off you go. Okay, welcome back. Again, it sounds very silly if you didn't pause and do this problem, but anyway, let's continue on. 7 times 7 is 49, so I write the 9, I carry my 4 over here. 7 times 9 is 63, I add the 4, which takes me to 67. So write the 7, carry the 6, 7 times 1 is 7, plus the 6 is 13. So 1,379. Okay, so hopefully that is correct. Yes, it is correct. I haven't done that right. Yep. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so nice and easy. So again, that's the working out I expect you to show. Exactly how I've done it. Any questions, make sure you come and speak to me. So we've looked at the different strategies for multiplication. We've worked through them. Make sure you've got those down in your notes. Looked at a couple of other, the other thing I wanted you to do is go back and find other terms for multiplication. Alright, so product, for example, is another term for multiplication. Hopefully that's given you everything that you need to do exercise 1E. Alright, so any questions, make sure you come and see me, but that should let you, give you a good heads up to get started on this next exercise. A little bit tongue-tied. Alright, thanks guys, she'll see you in class. Bye-bye.